What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 1, you guys. Quality over quantity, you guys. So, before we get into this review, if you guys are watching the video or any other video on the channel and you guys are not subscribed to my channel, I'm going to need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me foot the bill at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning your notifications on, and sharing the video. And you guys, with that out the way, without further ado, let's get into Ready to Love, shall we? All right, guys, so we are back with a new season of Ready to Love. I kind of wish they had given us a break, because I mean, the reunion part 2 to the DC cast was just last Friday, and now we have a new batch of singles. So this time we start things out a little bit differently than what we normally have. You know, we have 10 men, 10 women. Well, I don't know why I did 5 and 5. 10 men, 10 women. So 20 singles, right? Well, this time it is 7 singles. So it's 7 men and it's 7 women this time. So they didn't do a meet the cast, so we don't really know anything about the cast. So with this episode, we were just literally introduced to the cast. And I will say that with this episode, it felt kind of, even though it was only 7 men and 7 women, that's 14 people that's 14 new people that were meeting. And then there were instances where they would just throw people in, you know, we would see them pull up to the house and they would just get out of the car. It was like, and we didn't get any introduction to them. So we're gonna go have pictures of the cast so that way you guys know what I'm talking about. So we are first introduced to Paul, who is 48 years old, right? Paul is corny as fuck, right? Speaking of the fact that we're in Potomac, why don't y'all go over there to the Real Housewives of Potomac, pick up Giselle, and bring her here to meet some of these singles? But hey, whatever. So Paul is a sexual guy, right? He wants, you know, someone that when he comes home, there's, you know, food on the table and, you know, he's ready to get it. But he also wants someone that has some substance. We gonna talk about Paul because Paul, you have no substance. So then the next person we meet is Dakia. So Dakia is 39 years old. She tells us that she is waxed and vaxxed. And then when, you know, she goes into the crib and she meets Paul, he immediately hits her with the corny pickup line. I was like, oh God. I'm like, I hope Paul is the first one to go. So then we meet Tiffany next and we see her. So Tiffany, she's 37 years old. She tells us that she likes to be touched. She likes to touch and to be touched. I was like, oh, okay, more sexual vibes. Cool. Now, she's a Southern girl, right? So she's the type that likes for her man to go out and make the money, you know, bring home the food. She cooks the food and prepares it for him. I don't remember if she said where she's from in the South, but she's a Southern girl, right? Next up, we meet Wyly. Wyly is a former athlete, right? I know he said he was a college athlete. I don't know if he went pro. He has his ring. He has his NCAA ring on. His thing is he wants to come in and, because, you know, they feel like athletes have a lot of girlfriends, so he wants to dispel that rumor. When I looked at Wyly in the face and the way he's dressed, he gives you Waldo from Family Matters. He looks like Waldo. That's all I gotta say. So next up, we met Fernando. I feel like some of these people are lying about their ages. Fernando was 34 years old, you guys. So Fernando, he was talking about his last relationship. I forgot who he was talking to, but he was talking about his last relationship with his ex. She cheated in the house. She went to a swingers retreat, didn't take him. I think he was more upset about the fact that she didn't take him on that swingers retreat. So then we meet Kina. Kina describes herself as a diva in her relationship, right? And then she was talking to one guy and she was like, oh, his ass is too big. She's like, I like a guy with a flat ass. Well, the guy that you were talking to, he's a kind of a big guy. So if his ass was flat, then you just be talking to I don't know what you would be talking to. But okay, Kina, hope you go home too. So then we meet Precious. Precious, that dress she had on, very interesting, because right here it's cut out. Her split is really high, but I will say, you know, across the top she was covered up. So it's like very interesting dress because it's very busy, right? Also with the Precious, I don't know if it's just because of the camera angles or what, or it could be her heels, but she looks like she's very tall. Then next up, we meet Demetrius. Demetrius, he's 42 years old. He was in the military. And I wrote down Demetrius was a playboy because we'll talk about Demetrius in a little bit, but from what I run my notes, he's a playboy. We meet Sabrina next. She's 36. Sabrina came with a list of things that she wants in a man. And I was like, Sabrina, you might want to take that list and just chunk it out the window because I don't think that list, well, it might be because she wants someone who's into black people. I don't think I have an issue there, right? But other than that, the list gotta go. So then we meet Laverne, who's 44 years old, right? So Laverne, he tells us he used to bodybuild. I was like, okay, cool. And then we meet Clifton. So Clifton, he is 44 years old. Clifton. Now, when I was looking at when I was taking the pictures, because I remember just about what most of the people had on. I'm like, so damn, y'all had a busy first day. So y'all took y'all took y'all photo, did y'all photo shoot, right? Then y'all met each other. Like y'all had a long ass day, but probably met each other first and then did a photo shoot. I'm like, y'all had a very long ass first day. So we're gonna pause here, you guys, and move forward. All right, you guys. So Cat Daddy joins the cast, right? Letting them know who's here ready to love. So everybody raise that. Who's here because they tired of using those apps? Because I'm pretty sure some of y'all been using those apps. Who's here for that, right? So this time, what we're doing is, I know that y'all know the formula. I know y'all know we usually have 10 men and 10 women. But this time, we got 7 men, 7 women. I bet y'all were waiting for more people to come in. But no, not this time. We want y'all to do it differently. We want y'all to choose quality over quantity. So tonight, 2 people will be going home. That's right. Tonight, 2 people are going home. I was like, Tommy, that's not much of a stretch. So I was like, okay, so 2 people are going home, 1 man, 1 woman. So that'll bring it down to 6 men, 6 women. But I know at some point they're gonna throw a wrench into it and bring in some new singles, right? To even the odds out, right? Because if you only have 6 people, that means your season's gonna be over in a few weeks, right? So yeah. So Fernando. So once he did, and the thing with the first episode of Ready to Love, it's always interesting, right? Because the very first episode, it's kind of like they're on a speed date, right? So you have to go and get to know people in an X amount of time and see if you guys have a connection, which I don't see how you can have a connection with a person in a matter of minutes, seconds, hours, right? That takes time to cultivate any kind of a relationship or any kind of a connection with the person, right? So this one girl that Fernando pulled to the side, beautiful girl. Her name is Joy, right? I loved her tattoo right here. And then I think she had a little tattoo right here. Actually went around. Loved her tattoo, right? So when Fernando was talking to Joy, and I'm gonna tell you guys about Joy in just a minute. So when he was talking to her, the way he was talking to her, when she said it came out very interview-like, right? So Joy, she's 41 years old. He asked her, did she have any kids? She says no. He says, are you open to kids? She says yes. So Joy's 41. She felt like she was on the interview, and I felt the same way for her, right? So then in my notes, I say Kina. She's very annoying because Kina, she was going around talking to people, right? But she was just, her energy was off to me. Like that was what it was with Kina. Her energy was off. So Sabrina was drawn to Demetrius. We're going to talk about Demetrius, and we're going to go ahead and get into Demetrius. So from the conversation that Demetrius and Sabrina were having, Demetrius was previously married, and I got the impression from Sabrina's conversation that she was previously married. So they're asking each other, why did your marriages end, right? So Sabrina said that she got married young, right? So that's why her marriage ended. But Demetrius, his is a different story. So Demetrius' marriage ended because of him. He cheated on his ex-wife, right? And did he say how long he said he was married before? It was for 3 years, right? He cheated in that marriage, right? I know he said he's in therapy and he's trying to figure out why he cheated. I'm pretty sure you cheated because it was just something it might have been something to do. You might have been bored. I don't know, but we're gonna talk about the fact that we're gonna talk about Demetrius more. So then Paul, like I said earlier, Paul is mad fucking corny. Paul is going around telling people his name is P.O. They were like, why P.O.? Because I'm like the post office, I deliver. Most times when people, especially people who look like this, say P.O., they mean parole officer. So he was having a conversation with Ace. She's 36 years old, right? She was previously married. He asked, now the questions that he was asking Ace. I was like, bruh, we're getting a little too deep with it, right? But he asked her, about her marriage. She said she was married for about 1.5 to 2 years. He's asking her, why didn't it work out? What they got to do with you? Why do you care about why it didn't work out? So then the next person we meet is Tori. Tori is 39 years old, right? So Tori tells us he was raised by his grandmother because his mother was, I don't know, she was in some branch of the military, I believe, right? Because I think he said she was in Kuwait. I could be wrong, but he says he and his mother, they don't have a relationship, right? And he was talking to Precious, and Precious lets us know that, she and her mother, they've been estranged for 20 years, right? So she doesn't have a relationship with her mother. I know that Tori said his mom never said that she loved him. I'm like, wow, that's got to be hard to never hear your mother say, I love you. So then after that, Tommy comes out to, talk to the ladies. He's asking them, who are they feeling? So a good majority of the ladies said they're feeling Demetrius. I was like, the man that cheated on his wife? Okay. So then the next name that comes up is Clifton. They feeling Clifton, right? So then Thomas says, well, who are we not feeling? Well, the top 2 names that they're not feeling is Fernando and Paul. So we see Tommy, he gets all the couples together, all the singles together, right? So he's letting them know who is going to be going home tonight. So the person that the ladies decided is just not ready to love at this point is going to be Fernando. I was like, Fernando over P.O. Alright, if y'all say so. So we're gonna pause here and move forward, you guys. Alright, you guys, so now that the ladies have sent a man home, it's time for the men to send a woman home. So you see all the women, they're, now interacting with the guys, right? So we saw Joy, she was talking to Clifton, right? And Clifton asked, she was like, so what would the first date be like for us? He was like, what about goat yoga? I was like, absolutely not. Have y'all not saw goat yoga when those goats just be everywhere? Like, ew. When I see goat yoga, I just be wondering, what the do people get out of goat yoga? Never understood it. And he said she was drinking Prosecco, right? And she decided to share her drink with him. I'm like, not in this panini that we're in. Ew. So then Tiffany. So we find out a little bit more about Tiffany. So Tiffany has 2 kids, and who was she talking to? Was she talking to Wyly, or was she talking to, it was either Wyly or Tori. I believe it was Tori she was talking to, because he was asking her, do you think your sons are accept anybody new in your life? And she's like, yeah. Because she said she's been single for a while now. So she said yes, right? So okay, so yeah, I was looking at my notes trying to figure out what I was saying. But yeah, so I think she was talking to Tori, or it could have been Wyly. I don't remember. I really don't remember. Much like I said, this is a speed day for them. This is a speed day for me as well, because I'm trying to remember who is who. So then we see Sabrina and Laverne. Now, Laverne was in this little corner by himself, right? So I'm like, oh, so you want the ladies to just come to you kind of like interview style, right? Is that who felt? No, that was Fernando. But I'm like, but Laverne is doing interview style as well, right? Because at one point he was talking to Sabrina, right? Who is Sabrina? Sabrina's the one with the green outfit on that looked like a suit, right? think that's Sabrina. Sabrina's the one in the trailer that's leaving a restaurant with some guy. That's Sabrina. Now Precious, she came over there because they were talking about where Laverne is from, right? So Laverne is from Gary, Indiana. She don't know anything about Gary, Indiana, and I was like, you don't? He was like, the Jacksons from there. She's like, is that y'all's claim to fame? Yes, I was just about to say there's a street named after them, but watching a Janet Jackson documentary on A&E, she said that street is not named after them. You guys, that was a good documentary, and that's actually, I watched Ready to Love at 7 o'clock when it came on in my time, but then after that, I went and watched the Janet Jackson documentary, so, because I was initially planning to get this video, all three of my videos out on Friday, but I forgot about I was like Janet Jackson, so I went and watched that, so I'm not doing a review on the Janet Jackson documentary, you guys. I just want to sit, watch that, and actually enjoy it. I may talk about it in Hot Topics next week. Actually, that's what we'll do next Friday. Next Friday, we will discuss it in Hot Topics. So, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll discuss Janet Jackson's documentary in the Hot Topics. Won't be a separate review for it, you guys, because I just really want to enjoy it and not have to take any notes on it. So, that was the last that we saw of the dates, right? Because we actually, at one point, it was Clifton and who was it? Clifton was having a conversation with, I don't even remember the woman he was having a conversation with, but Clifton and some lady, she had a black dress on. Was it, who was it that he was having a conversation with? I'm trying to picture it, you guys. He was having a conversation with, was he having a conversation with Joy? No, Joy has a green dress on. Joy has on a green dress. Was he having no? Was that dress yellow? I believe he was having a conversation with Dakia. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me in the comment section. Like I said, it's still hard to keep up with these people right now, but they were having a conversation. They were getting to know each other, right? And he was asking her basically like, what are your plans 5 years from now? So then Kina comes over there, right? And just sits down, right? And he asks her, so like, in 5 years, like, where do you see yourself living at? She was like, maybe Houston, Atlanta. He was like, oh, so stateside. She was like, so you meant like abroad? He was like, yeah, that's kind of what we were just talking about. She was like, and she was talking about in the interview with the producer, like, the reason I went over there and sat down is because my head was hurting and I was just needing, I was needing an Excedrin or something like that, right? But they had the conversation. So then Tommy comes out and he asks the men, so who are the men feeling, right? So the men like Sabrina, and then after that it was like a toss up. They kept saying different names, but the names that stood out were Precious, Joy, and then he asked them who are they not feeling, and they all said Kina, and then there was some aces in there. I'm trying to remember who the hell Ace is. Who is Ace? Oh, Ace is the one that has the twist. Ace is the one that has the locks. Is that Ace? I think so. Once again, you guys, trying to get this cast together. We'll eventually get them together. So then Tommy tells, he has them all together, and Tommy reveals who is going home tonight for the men. And the men have decided to send home Kina, which I really wasn't shocked that they sent Kina home, because Kina really wasn't making any kind of connections. She was just very awkward. She was just there like wallpaper. So yeah, that's the first episode, you guys. There wasn't really much to it. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on, you guys. Share the video. And until the next one, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands. Wear a mask, you guys. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys later.